Everybody ready?
Nope.
Okay. You want to count us down?
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Greetings, Portal Masters.
You're listening to Skycast, the unofficial Skylanders podcast.
This episode of the Skycast is SuperCharged. SuperCharged.
What happened?
Whoops. Well, that was my fault. Hey, Skylanders fans, welcome back to the Skycast, episode number 31. And it's Christmas Eve. Not really. It's September 19th. It is the day before the launch of Skylanders SuperChargers, so this is our very special pre-launch SuperChargers coverage episode. And for many of you, you'll be able to get your hands on the game in just a few short hours. So according to my countdown clock for my local time zone, that is looking like it will be in 4 hours and 57 minutes.
And 20 seconds.
Yep. So, Doug, I think Skylanders Mega Collector Doug, who's on the line with us, that includes you as well, right? You'll be able to go to the midnight launch as planned?
Hopefully. Hopefully there won't be any hiccups.
Very cool. I myself will not be going to a midnight launch. We are going to pick up the game.
Yes.
Yeah,
Midnight.
No, you'll be in bed,
Midnight.
just like you should be,
Midnight.
just like all 7-year-olds should be.
Midnight.
We're gonna get up really early in the morning, and we're gonna go wait in line at Toys R Us.
Like 4 o'clock?
Not 4 o'clock. More like we'll probably get up at 6 and get dressed and be in line at like around 7, so that we can be one of the first few people through the door at Toys R Us. Okay, guys. This is a live show, as you know, for those of you who are joining us live. Obviously, you know that. For those of you who are listening in on your podcast feeds, you may recall our previous live shows. The usual caveats apply. Expect some editing bumps in the road and things like that. Take it in the spirit that it's intended, kind of like a live music performance. It doesn't have to be perfect. Hopefully we have Doug's audio boosted to a good spot this time around. We're trying a different tactic with bringing Doug in. Instead of using the ever flaky Google Hangouts, Doug is joining us via Skype today, and I think he sounds wonderful. Your dulcet tones are coming through very clearly in my ears, Doug.
Well, I'm both glad and kind of frightened by that.
I think dulcet tones is a compliment. I've heard people say that, and I think it means good things. So if it doesn't, I'm sorry, because I meant it to.
It makes me wonder if, the next time I see you, if you're going to, stop and stroke my hair and then be like, all right, let's play some Destiny.
Odds are good that I will not do that. But you're welcome to play some Destiny with me. I've been playing Destiny quite a bit this week. The Taken King expansion launch wiped away all of my progress in this game and made me basically start from scratch, like a total noob with blue and green armor. So yeah, it's been an interesting journey because the thousands of hours that I've put into, not thousands, probably 1,000 hours that I've put into Destiny over the past few months has basically just been reset back to square one. So that was always one of the things that I really liked about Destiny, was the fact that they kind of respected the time that you'd already invested in the game and did not do that. But it is what it is. It's a pretty cool expansion. If you're a fan of the game, definitely check it out. I know, Doug, you spent a lot of time last night really enjoying your copy of The Taken King, watching a download progress bar fill up, right?
Oh, yeah. That's one of the things that people should really know in advance that they don't tell you. It will not only, if you haven't turned on Destiny in a while, it will require like a 1.8 gig update to the game, and then when you go to install the expansion, it will also, if you've got the Legendary Edition, it will reinstall basically everything. So you've got a 1.8 gig mandatory update, and then another 18 gigs on top of that. So depending on how fast your connection is and how fast your PS4 actually will go on that connection, I think mine had like a 7-hour wait or something stupid like that, and I was just like, yeah, okay, I'm going to watch a movie and go to bed.
Yeah, I had to download it over the course of like 2 days while I was at work because for some reason PSN just doesn't want to recognize that you have actual bandwidth. All right, so guys, hopefully my audio sounds okay tonight. As you can see here in the foreground, if you're in our live audience, I have a brand new microphone. This is the Blue Yeti microphone that we mentioned on the last show, which is a little bit of a step up from the Blue Snowball that we have previously been using. And it's kind of covering your face up, Abby. You might want to sit like over there, or I don't know. We're gonna have to figure out. Yeah, make sure everybody can see your face. All right, cool. All right, Doug, so it's the night before SuperChargers, and all through the house, not a creature was stirring, not even a Drobot. I don't know. What's going on?
Last I checked, Emily's got Will in the car driving him around the block a bunch so that he'll actually nap and, so he can actually go to his first, according to her, his first midnight launch. But technically, I pointed out that he was in fact there for the last one.
For in utero, right?
Exactly. She wanted to argue that point with me, and since I have photos of him at Heroes Con last year and this year, she can't very well support the one theory and not the other. So she's kind of stuck with that at the moment.
I'm going to see if I can get Abby repositioned here. So this microphone is absolutely massive, Doug. I wasn't prepared for it to be this big. Yeah, sit up in your chair. That's the best thing. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I immediately went to get the arm for it and everything.
Yeah, we're definitely going to have to do some accessorizing to make this microphone fit into our workflow. But enough about the microphone. Let's talk about Skylanders. So, man, I just don't even know what to say. It's like the calm before the storm. We've all been waiting so long on this game to come out, and on pins and needles with anticipation for news and information, and now it's all out there, and people are actually now playing the game. I know some folks have got their hands on it early and have been tweeting things at us about how good it is and everything. So, and just to think like this time tomorrow, I'm gonna have played it for like at least 7 hours. It totally blows my mind.
Well, hopefully we'll have played it, at least 7 hours. You never can tell anymore with all of our little technical hiccups. If anybody wants to donate us a studio that we can get together.
Let's start up a Patreon. One of you very fortunate, wealthy folks out there, just keep us funded, and we'll play Skylanders 24/7. Now, so Abby, what are you looking forward to the most for SuperChargers when we finally get to play it tomorrow? What's the first thing you want to try?
Racing.
Okay, cool. So tomorrow, guys, we are going to be streaming all day. Now that we know that Toys R Us is open at 8 a.m., we're going to be there as early as we can. We're going to get all of our stuff there, and then we're coming home, and we're going to kind of get set up and then start streaming, and we're just going to play the game as long as we possibly can tomorrow. So we really want all you guys. I know you're all going to be eager to play the game too, but hopefully you'll maybe throw us on in the background, on your tablet or something.
I can't wait.
And feel free to add us on PSN. Up at the top of your screen, you'll see that we have our PSN ID up there. And go ahead and send us a friend request. We don't log into that account unless we're streaming from the PS4, which we haven't done in a while. But I know some of you have sent us friend requests, and as soon as we get logged in tomorrow, we'll accept those. And hopefully we can get some online racing and co-op going with everybody. And Doug, I'm really excited to be able to finally play this game online with you. Hopefully we'll get to do that as well tomorrow. So
I think we're gonna have it done, buddy.
You need to speak up.
Okay,
I think it'll be a whole lot of fun. I haven't heard any early reports, and Tony, if you can confirm or deny for us, I've pretty much lost all hope for a regular arena battle mode like we had in the past, where you could go PvP against each other without vehicles. The racing will be a whole lot of fun, but I'd still love to have something akin to the level of PvP that we had in Swap Force.
Yeah, so Tony on a Mountain, new friend of the show who came on board with us a few weeks ago and kind of binge listened to the Skycast all the way up through current, managed to get Walmart, I believe, to sell the game to him early. So he's had his hands on it for several days now. So yeah, Tony, if you can confirm or deny if there's actual PvP, be it local or online, I would really like to know that as well. That's kind of my last unanswered question with this game. So hopefully Tony will get us an answer in Twitch chat in a few moments once the stream has a chance to catch up to everything.
Yeah, the other one, Tony, if you happen to have gotten any of the individual figures, is it just the starter that comes with the Battlecast cards, or is it everything, comes with a basic Battlecast card to be truly in place of the collectors, stat cards that we had previously, which have been kind of relegated to secondary citizen status with the stickers this time around? I would love to know if we're going to have to buy a bunch of packs of those things and, maybe trade to get full collections just for our characters, or if we're pretty much safe, but kind of getting roped secondarily into the card game.
All right, guys, we're going to get into the news here in just a second. Before we do that, I want to give everyone a heads up and a fair opportunity. We are going to try to call some listeners tonight via Skype and just get everyone's kind of pre-launch hype going for SuperChargers. So SuperChargers hype is what the show is all about tonight. And if you'd like us to call you via Skype, all I need you to do is post your Skype username in Twitch chat and just sit tight till you get a contact request and a call from Mini Kaboom. We will, depending on how many people want to do that with us, we'll kind of work those into the show. I know for sure we're going to have Hoarder Gamer join us in a little bit. Hoarder Gamer's been a Mini Kaboom dedicated fan and viewer and listener for a long time. I think, if I'm not mistaken, Hoarder Gamer, you came on board back during Extra Life 2014, maybe even earlier than that. So very excited to get you on the show here in a few minutes. All that being said, Doug, I think this is as good a time as any to hop into the news. Actually, no, Tony just responded to a couple of our questions, so let's see what Tony has to say about those questions. I have not seen PvP in the game other than racing, but I have not explored all the features, so it is not completely ruled out. The 360 came with 2 Battlecast cards, Spitfire and Stealth Elf. So, awesome. Okay, guys, let's get into the news.
Skylands Report.
Okay, Doug, what do you have for us this week, news-wise?
All right, the first one everybody should have seen already based on our tweets and our hopes and prayers and everything. They were answered a little bit. Toys R Us, excuse me. Toys R Us has decided to cave where everybody else has held out as far as no sales are concerned. They are, in fact, doing buy one, get one. This year it is 40% off, period. There is no special 50% off for early adopters. Still great. It includes all Skylanders, Infinity, and Amiibo starters, figures, playsets, and accessories, and it runs through the 20th, including the technical 19th midnight start, and it goes all the way through the 26th, so you get 7 days worth of that.
Saving some money, saving some money. This is great news. I was kind of not really panicking, but I was definitely disappointed as the week went on this week, and there were no news out of Toys R Us about a sale, and I was actually considering going over to Best Buy and doing the whole Gamers Club thing, which is actually, all things considered, probably a really good deal. You spend $30, you get a 2-year, 20% off every video game related thing that you buy. That's a pretty good deal. But, I don't buy a ton of stuff, and Best Buy is not my favorite place to shop, so I was reluctantly going to do that, and then I think it was maybe Wednesday, we started getting some buzz that there was a true sale. I think there was a Dark Spyro post, and then confirmed on Skylanders Inquirer, and then Raider82, one of our Twitter followers, actually tweeted us a screenshot of the email that he got promoting the sale. Doug, I personally never got this email. Did you?
So far, I have not. I have not seen it at all, but it's not at all unusual for like hot toy alerts and things like that. It's really hit and miss. Basically, if you were in their system a long time ago and have been for a long time, then it basically seems like they always send it to the top whatever percent of their database, and it doesn't always manage to scan through everything. And based on the couple of calls that I've had to make to Toys R Us customer service, it basically sounds like they have a lot of different, I don't want to say antique, but basically a lot of legacy systems running in the background together, and they don't always communicate and play nice with each other the way that everybody would hope.
How are we not like in the top of their database? As much money as we spend at that place.
Well, I didn't really start spending an incredible amount of money at Toys R Us until Skylanders really kicked off, so I've only been in their database for the past 4 years, 5 years, something like that. There are folks who have shopped there for much longer at this point, so it's really, and that's just my estimation. We've never, of course, gotten any official opinion or response or anything from Toys R Us. To comment on the Best Buy's Gamers Club Unlocked, there have been a few very outspoken folks on Dark Spyro that have gone on and on and on about it, and I'm not really dismissing them because they are right. They just have been kind of like beating people over the head with it. Technically, if you do all of the math, the Best Buy Gamers Club Unlocked card for this launch, especially if you're getting multiple starters, is technically going to be the best overall deal monetarily wise. The problems with that come in with a lot of people either don't shop at their Best Buys or kind of turned off by just the vibe in there and the way that they operate. Not that there's anything necessarily bad with it, but I too have seen some of that. I can personally speak to a lot of Best Buys not having the greatest amount of stock on hand, and in the past week there were some really overzealous folks that at least overzealous in my opinion, who were very vehement in their opinions that basically you should always pay the least that you possibly can, et cetera, et cetera. I think a lot of the fans that we speak to, the ones that are the most passionate, are kind of like us, where they want to have it in hand as quickly as possible. They don't want to wait. They're sometimes willing to pay a little bit more for the convenience, and it's not necessarily all about the dollar. The dollar certainly helps. You don't ever want to spend any more than you have to, but there's also a certain amount of customer loyalty involved. Where Toys R Us consistently has the best overall stock. They typically get exclusives before everybody, whether they're timed or exclusive to their store. And yeah, Best Buy does offer a lot of stuff on pre-order. You can technically get a better monetary value, but you're going to have to wait a little bit longer. You're not going to have that sweet, day one picture, that day one pile. Plus, you're not going to have some of the early exclusive that Toys R Us is going to offer. So if you're looking to spend the absolute positive least amount and you don't care about necessarily having everything in your hands immediately, Best Buy Gamers Club Unlocked is going to be the best value overall for you, save the specific in-store exclusives like the Legendary series, the Nitro series, etc. If that's not necessarily as much a concern for you, the Toys R Us buy one get one 40% off sale is really close. It is really comparable, and you're all but guaranteed to be able to actually get everything in your hand on day one.
So someone's actually done the math and determined that you come out a little bit ahead with the Gamers Club, even with the fee and everything.
They did. Basically, if the way they presented it was, if you buy 2 Dark Starters, you'll get 20% off of each. So you'll get $20 off of each of those $100 starters. You automatically save $40, which automatically pays for the card and gives you an additional $10 savings. And then you start looking at the individual figure sales. It's definitely not an insignificant amount of money. It's just not an incredible amount of money. It was like they kept doing wave one totals for a lot of stuff, and it came up to it was like $215 or $218 at Best Buy, and then it was like $232 or $235 at Toys R Us, and honestly, the like $20 or $30 or whatever it was really wasn't enough for me to risk maybe having all the stuff on day one, maybe not having it. Plus, again, there's the loyalty that has built up between me and my local Toys R Us because of the fact that they have always consistently had the stuff, whereas my Best Buy, a lot of times it looks like a picked over flea market.
Well, best of luck to all of you guys, regardless of where you choose to go to get your purchases done. We've talked about 3 really good options. Obviously, Best Buy is a good option, especially if you already happen to have that Gamer Club membership. You're looking at even more savings there. The Toys R Us sale was a welcome announcement this week, and we also mentioned the Target Red Card last week on the show with 5% across the board savings. So nowhere near the same as these two, but if you have that same kind of loyalty that Doug has to Toys R Us to Target. I know everybody in my house absolutely loves Target. That might be an option for you as well. Regardless of where you choose to go, good luck. Throughout the talking about this particular thing, I've been throwing up screenshots of our launch day hub page, which you can get to just by going to minikaboom.com/Skylanders. If you scroll down, there's a screenshot of the Toys R Us promo email that outlines the deal specifically, and also a link to the Gamers Club. One thing to take note of about the Toys R Us sale, it does include Infinity and Amiibo. So, and they do stack with each other. So in other words, if you find a situation where you have an odd man out, you buy one more Skylander and you don't have an accompanying one to get the 40% off, you can always throw in an Amiibo or a Disney Infinity character, and the deal will cross over like that. At least it did last year, because I bought some Disney Infinity characters at the same time that I bought Skylanders, and I was able to get the discounts to work out that way.
One thing to hop in real quick, you reminded me of, I had mentioned this and had confirmed this a little bit on Dark Spyro in some of the very robust, very very strong opinioned cost discussions. In the last couple of years, Toys R Us's system has adjusted, or at least has been adjusted on the back end, so that they will match the like-priced items, so that you won't buy like $200 starters and two $15 figures. You're not going to get the 40% off of the two $15 figures. It'll go $100 starter, $60 starter, and then $15 figure, and then whatever the discount would be on the $15 figure. I ran into this last year. I also did not have any problems with it during the Swap Force launch, because in both instances I started to do, or rather with Swap Force I started to do the individual groupings of, okay, here's all of the items that are this amount, here's the starters, go ahead and ring them up, okay, here's all the figures that are this amount. And the gentleman who was ringing me up made sure to tell me, well, because of the fact that people caught on to the way that the system was working, it's been adjusted so that it will catch like-priced items. So if you're adding in like an Amiibo or a Disney Infinity figure or whatever to make that even up, try to make sure that they are going to be the same price. That way you'll definitely get the same amount. If they happen to be a little more expensive, you'll end up with one of your combos being the Amiibo plus the less expensive Skylanders item. So just as a heads up, GameStop's, or not GameStop, Toys R Us's computers are set up so that they automatically sort that out, so you don't end up having to do 3 or 4 different transactions. That that not only helps you, but it helps them by not having to have everybody sit there for 15 or 20 minutes while they ring everything up separately. They can just do everything in one transaction. And worst case scenario, and I've never heard of this happening in the last couple of years, if you end up being the exception to the rule where it doesn't ring up properly, it's not like you can't go back after everybody's had a chance to run through the registers either later that night or the next day and have them go ahead and adjust it for you.
Very cool. So what else is going on in the world of retail as we talk about launch day?
Next up is, and I'll mention this one quickly so that everybody who wants to take advantage of it can either hop online or head out. Today is technically the last day to pre-order a Nintendo starter through GameStop. GameStop, for the last week, maybe 2 weeks is when it was announced, they have been basically adding for every pre-order that you pick up of a Nintendo SuperCharger starter, they will give you an exclusive Skylanders comic. There are 2 different covers, one featuring Bowser, one featuring Donkey Kong. So technically, in order to get both, you would need to go ahead and pre-order, say, the Wii U and the 3DS, or the Wii U and the Wii with GameStop in order to get both of those. The reason that I include the Wii U both times is I assume that anybody who's going to do this is wanting to make sure that they get both of the Disney, or not Disney, the Nintendo exclusive amiibo characters that are locked in there. The Wii U includes Donkey Kong and the Barrel Blaster, and both the 3DS and the Wii versions include Bowser and the Clown Cruiser.
Abby, we haven't checked in on this in a while together. What is your final thought on whether or not we're going to purchase any Nintendo starters to get the Sky Amiibo figures?
I want to.
Nope. Okay.
Nope.
All right. I'm with you on that. I don't want to spend the money on those. I'd rather save my money for some other stuff, right?
Yeah.
We can always wait on them to go on sale later. I'm super bummed for you, Doug, and the money you're going to have to spend tomorrow.
I've come to accept it, and I know we skipped over some of the intro stuff, but anybody who follows me on Twitter, and at least one of our Twitch followers who was in the same boat that I was, I don't have to worry about it nearly as much as what I had been, because it was confirmed for me yesterday that I am no longer hitting the unemployment lines in a couple of weeks. I technically did have something lined up so that I really wouldn't have been out there for too long. It was basically transitioning to something very similar, and it would have taken a couple of weeks to get it started up, but basically I'm staying in more or less my same job with the same company. It's just I'm transitioning as far as who owns me now, which is kind of a relief.
That is excellent news. Very glad to hear that.
Yep. As a result, I still have to watch my spending as much as I ever did, but it makes it a lot less of a concern as far as having to pick up the extra starters. I'm still not incredibly happy about it, but the fact that Will apparently is in love with the extra vehicles and stuff, given the video that I posted up a week or two ago, that makes it sting a lot less. As a parent, seeing your kid smile and grin and then cry when you go to take something away from them that they love so much, it takes the sting out of the extra starters a bit.
Very cool.
All right, next up, it looks like, and I don't have any confirmation, I've asked around my local store a little bit and haven't been able to get anybody to tell me one way or the other, but it looks like the double packs might end up being exclusive to Toys R Us at launch, which would not be unprecedented. Best Buy, for the longest time, has had 2 miscellaneous SKUs marked double pack number 1 and double pack number 2 with no other descriptions on them. So people assumed that these were going to be Terrafin and the Shark Tank and Jetvac and the Jetstream, but nobody knows for certain because they just have these generic holders for them. Somebody had talked to their local Target who had everything in the back. They had them go over the stock, and Target had confirmed, an independent individual store had confirmed to that individual that all the stock that they received contains all of Wave 1 except for the double packs, and that would be all of the launch wave stuff. So it looks like in some places, the double packs might be considered Wave 1.5, or they might actually come out with Wave 2, which is traditionally usually the Tuesday after launch. But right now, we don't have 100% confirmation on when these things are going to come out. Best Buy had those 2 relatively unknown, non 100% confirmed double packs listed with a release date, I think, of October the 2nd. But without knowing 100% certain for absolute what those are, it's a little bit up in the air, and that is a little disappointing because I know, Matt, that you were really looking forward to grabbing Terrafin and the Shark Tank and slamming them down on the portal. I'm not saying that for certain. I had talked to earlier in the day some of the folks that I know over there, and folks who recognize me on site when I walk in. If you go ahead and pick up Terrafin, he is in Wave 1. You would have to wait until Wave 2 to... Actually, yeah, you'd have to wait until Wave 2 to get the individual Shark Tank. So if the double pack isn't there on launch, you could technically get Terrafin. You just would have to wait at least a couple of days to get his vehicle. Hopefully, crossing our fingers, Toys R Us did get some sort of timed exclusive. It looks like probably about 2 weeks on the double packs, but with everything else, word has come last minute on these things, and there's been very little confirmation of anything except for actual individuals in stock rooms at these retailers going, oh, hey, yeah, this is X. Well, I should be able to tell you at about 12:05 tonight whether or not you're going to prep for an angry phone call or not. All right, next news topic. Not really surprising to anybody. I think we might have bumped over it a little bit earlier in the general discussion. Best Buy and Target specifically, some of their early bird pre-orders delivered earlier than what launch was supposed to be. People had reported receiving stuff basically, I think, from about Tuesday on, and these are not necessarily reviewer copies. These are just individuals who went ahead and pre-ordered the stuff early on and just happened to get it delivered to them. I'm assuming that since the mail and typically non-$100 charges for UPS and FedEx packages typically don't deliver on Sundays, in order to get folks their stuff as close as possible to launch and not have it be post-launch, they went ahead and made sure that they delivered at least by Saturday. So folks who were closer to the distributors, went ahead and got their stuff early. We ended up, as a result, getting a lot of gameplay videos and a lot of unboxing videos and things like that, which I've mostly religiously avoided. Surprisingly, nobody had really answered the thing about whether there were cards in the figures, and the couple of brief shots that I saw of that trying to avoid some spoilers, I didn't happen to see them, but looks like we had some folks who got lucky. Maybe you might want to look into pre-ordering, via mail next year. That's also going to be one of your options to get the best possible deal. But again, it doesn't necessarily guarantee you the stuff in hand as early as possible. In this case, a lot of people lucked out, and I'm glad for them. But I wasn't willing to roll the dice versus being able to walk into a store, pick it up, and walk out.
Doug, I just had my first microphone mishap.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, apparently the mute button on the Yeti is not a push to mute, it's a toggle. So so I muted myself at one point to move the microphone around to get a little better framing of the shot of Abby falling asleep in her chair for our live viewers. And in doing so, I had myself on mute for quite a while. So for those of you who are listening to this in the feed, probably what you're going to hear is a couple of news topics of Doug basically just talking without any kind of response from me. I'll cut out the dead air that will probably be there from where my audio would have been. And apologies to the live audience for maybe you guys can lip read, hopefully, so maybe you kind of know what I said. I'm not exactly sure what got cut out and what didn't, because I did push the mute button a couple of different times trying to move the mic around. So, but hey, now we know, and we can make sure that doesn't happen again. The show must go on. Please continue, Doug.
Okay, next up is a question people had been asking for a long time. The Digital Portal Owners Pack. The details finally got released. It launches on Monday the 21st, technically a day under, or a day after launch rather, and pricing on that comes out at $49.99, a little higher than what people were hoping, but around about what most people had anticipated for that.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty much on par with what I was expecting. It is kind of interesting that we had some comments when we talked about this last time on the show about that relative to the digital version of Infinity, which is at last time I checked $30 and on sale for $20 on PSN anyway, and that sale may be over at this point. But you can also find the Infinity starter, just the starter itself with the Anakin and Ahsoka figure and the playset for like $64.99 MSRP, and on sale at places like Sam's and Costco for as low as like $54.99 MSRP.
Yeah, one thing that I noticed is this is the first time that I saw any of the Infinity starters actually go on sale. Anybody who's more familiar with them than I am, feel free to correct me on this, but with the exception of the occasional like buy one, you get one, you know, type sale on the individual figures, I never did see the starters get marked down. And if you followed the interview series I did, I pretty much hammered everybody about, you know, why will these things not go down? You know, why will they not discount these things? And the consensus was a general shrugging of, and everybody kind of figuring that it was probably Disney on the back end manipulating everything, hoping that, you know, it never dropped in price. They could maximize profits. And it looks like with Lego entering the marketplace this time around and SuperChargers having such a strong showing, it looks like Disney might have backpedaled a little bit and gone, well, our game kind of sucks and we don't drop our prices and our stock sits forever, so maybe we should change stuff around a little bit.
I don't know. I think out of all the Disney games, this one's going to be the best seller just because of the Star Wars tie-in. I've seen so much more hype for this one. I mean, I thought there was a lot of hype for Marvel, but it doesn't even compare to the Star Wars hype.
It really doesn't, and I will go ahead and admit this here on the live show. I broke too, since they had such a fantastic discount for the Saga pack. You know, I didn't break for Boba Fett. You know, I broke for the fact that I was going to basically get two Toys to Life type, more or less Gauntlet dungeon crawler type, you know, style games, but with Star Wars characters that I could pop in and out. So I gave in and I picked up the Saga pack. And you know, if it doesn't totally, absolutely make my eyeballs fall out because of how much it sucks, I will probably be picking up the Episode 7 pack whenever, you know, it drops towards Christmas.
Hey, Doug. Abby is asleep in her chair, so we got to come up with something to scream really loud to wake her up. Okay? What do you think?
The Littlest Pet Shops are on fire?
No, let's tell her that I deleted Five Nights at Freddy's from her iPad really loud. You ready?
Oh, that's
Okay.
just mean.
Abby, I deleted Five Nights at Freddy's off your iPad.
The iPad isn't even working, it's dead.
Oh, man. Abby, you know what? We've got like 3 news topics left, and then we can do Skylander of the Week, and then I'll let you go to bed, okay? It's really early, though. I don't know why you're so sleepy. Sleepy booger. All right.
I usually go to bed early on weekends.
Oh, okay.
Especially today, because we have to get up early.
All right, let's get pumped up.
Like
Maybe like
school.
15 more minutes, and then bedtime, okay? All right, Doug, what's up next?
Next up is a little bit of a disappointing topic. I didn't put any specific links to it because it was mentioned in half a dozen different places on Dark Spyro, and I couldn't find any other substantiation on like Skylanders.de or the Skylanders Reddit thread, so I just went ahead and left it unsubstantiated. There were a bunch of rumors over the past few days abounding regarding Nightfall, of all characters, being recalled. Supposedly, somebody had heard that this was happening, and it was supposedly due to faulty RFID chips. Seeing as how there have been a bunch of unboxings where people did have access to Wave 2 immediately, both in and out of the U.S., I don't know that this is necessarily going to be a thing. It could mean that, you know, if we luck out and pick up Wave 2 early, or when we pick up Wave 2, if we get our hands on Nightfall, we might end up having to swap her out. But I would call potential shenanigans on this, because a lot of people were saying, oh, I heard this, but I couldn't find anybody else than a bunch of people, you know, kind of pulling the "my uncle works at Nintendo" deal on the Dark Spyro forums.
Well, I hope that's not the case. I mean, Nightfall is one of the figures that I'm looking forward to. I know Abby's really looking forward to her as well. But yeah, it is what it is. I mean,
I'm looking for her to Splat.
Well,
I don't even know who she is.
you don't know who Nightfall is?
No.
Yeah, you do. She's the one with the tentacles and the black outfit, and she rides the Sea Shadow vehicle.
Oh.
Well, maybe Abby's not looking forward to Nightfall. Okay. Anyway, hopefully these, like you said, these emails are just rumors and to be taken with a grain of salt.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. The people were acting like it was kind of some widespread thing, and I figured it would have been all over, and, you know, would have had at least its own Reddit thread in the Skylanders forum. But I couldn't find a peep of anybody else talking about it. There were 2 or 3 people who were talking about it on Dark Spyro, but I think they kind of fed off one another. Of somebody started it and then somebody read it and somebody else repeated it, and kind of on, like a telephone game type thing. Except for the bad news rumor kept repeating itself.
Yep.
All right. Anybody who actually did the pre-order stuff through Toys R Us in order to guarantee that they got their hands on one of the Toys R Us exclusive Wii Dark Packs in order to get the Dark Bowser figure, you might have received an email stating that we don't have stock. You won't be able to pick up your stuff, especially at midnight. It looks like those may and probably are erroneous. It was explained by, and I can't remember who it is. I'll pull up the topic now, but I can't promise I'll get it right before we move on to the next one. Somebody who was familiar with their back-end processes basically said that what happens is when they check everything in their system, they're supposed to have a separate bin and a separate check-in process for anything that's pre-ordered. And if they don't allocate that stuff to the pre-order bin at a certain point before a pre-order is due, they will go ahead and automatically send out an email saying, hey, they'll notice the bin's empty, and so they'll send out emails to everybody who had pre-ordered saying, hey, your stuff's not available. You might end up having to wait for it or go somewhere else or whatever. And typically what it is most stores just don't bother to scan the stuff into the pre-order bin. They'll have it there, they'll have it set aside for people who show up with the cards, but they won't actually not have the product on hand. And it looks like in my mind I was right. I didn't want to say it. It looks like Uncle Bob was the one who had produced that particular bit of information. So thank you, Uncle Bob, for that little bit of backroom understanding of how Toys R Us's processes work.
Shout out to Uncle Bob. All right, hopefully that's true. Also, it's always fun to see these last minute panicky rumor things pop up. Hopefully none of them turn out to be true.
Well, I can't remember what it was last year. I think it was honestly maybe my main starter, because I think that's what I had actually, honest to goodness, pre-ordered at Toys R Us, and they had tons of them. I mean, they could basically not have the basic starters, so I didn't worry about it then. And with this one being a Toys R Us exclusive, there's a little more concern, but not really, because it happened last year, now that I think about it, and Uncle Bob's synopsis of that is probably 100% on the spot.
Rock and roll.
All right, last bit of official news that we've got in here. Looks like early reports from folks who got the game a little bit early because of reviewing, or they got their stuff shipped to them, or in Tony's case, he managed to manipulate the system and get out the door before somebody tackled him in the parking lot, took the game back. It looks like not all Skylanders are registering, and I took that, because nobody got real specific about it, I took that to mean in the collector's screen when scanned onto the new portal. Everybody who had reported this reported that all characters that they had put on the portal worked, and they kept saying registering. So I'm thinking that this could mean that Toys for Bob kind of slapped down Vicarious Visions' zeal with which they expanded and had this incredibly immersive collector's screen as compared to what Toys for Bob had in Spyro's Adventure, Giants, and Trap Team. And that's just purely a guess on my side, but if it turns out that this is true, I'm going to be highly disappointed that I don't have this incredibly bulky number of figures once I scan everybody in. Maybe it's that people were getting too high a bonus for having all the figures. They were getting too high a particular elemental bonus or an overall experience bump for the characters while they were playing. Maybe it was some jealousy or infighting between the two development houses. Who knows? Hopefully it turns out that this is just something that is glitchy and it'll get patched, and it's not on a consistent basis with all specific characters. But be forewarned, you might not get as much of a collector's bump as you did with the last Vicarious Visions game based on early reports.
I'd imagine this is a topic that we'll end up talking about at some point on the Skycast once we know exactly how it's going to pan out. It could, like you said, it could just be a glitch that they'll push out a patch for. The good news is we're all on modern platforms now for the most part, and they can patch the game, which wasn't previously an option due to the Wii version having to be in sync with all the modern versions. Tony's actually just chimed in and said collector screen issues are correct. Game did not recognize all of his figures. Well, we'll keep an eye on this, and we'll continue to report on it. I'm sure there will be much discussion. If it's an intentional thing, we can discuss that. If it's a glitch, it'll get fixed eventually, I'm sure. But it's a bummer either way.
If it's an intentional thing, I really hope that they would go ahead and, honest to goodness, just own up to it. You know, if it's something where they said, oh, well, we don't want every variant of, you know, a figure, you know, even if it registers as an individual variant in the game, we don't want all of them to show up on your collector's screen. It's too crowded, blah, blah, blah. If they made that executive decision, they need to own it, and they need to, you know, deal with any good press or bad press or, you know, any response that generates. If they don't, I'm calling them out for being cowards, kind of how they have been so tight-lipped about the ridiculousness that has, you know, become the yawn trap debacle.
Mega Collector calls you out. You have been called out in the ways of old. We will duel at dawn.
Hey, I called them out yesterday via Twitter when I, you know, posted that $650 light trap.
Oh, wait, let me do the bumper. Okay, you ready? Choo 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 choo, stupid trap watch. Go ahead.
We're done.
Yeah. You're just not going to humor me on that, are you? You're just not going to engage with me on Stupid Trap Watch.
I will give you pauses the next time we do a non-live recording so you can actually create that bumper and put it in and surprise everybody. But
Tony says it seems like an actual bug, so that's good news. But I mean, it does, you know, it's good news that it's a bug. It's good because it means that it'll get fixed. Hey,
Activision, that's all the more reason for Matt and I to get review copies. Even, you know, I said to Matt yesterday, I don't care, you know, if I have to pay for a review copy. You know, I just want a copy early to, you know, to check out, to be able to you know, fanboy all over. And seeing as how, with the exception of some of the chase variants, I've pretty much got everything, so I could have caught this, but no.
Well, you know, okay, so on the topic of review copies, we were kind of tongue-in-cheek about that on the last episode, and I understand you had an exchange with someone at Dark Spyro on this topic, and that person brought up a really good point. You know, you can't just expect things to come to you. You know what I mean? Like, so I'm sure there's some process that we can go through where we can apply to be a reviewer, and we just need to make the effort to seek that out and go through that process rather than sitting back and belly aching about the fact that you know, a free game didn't just show up on our doorstep. So my goal between I don't want to be, you know, I don't want to sound like entitled or anything. I'm sure we need to go through the process just like everybody else. So my plan between now and Sky 6 is to put together a little summary of who our audience is and what, you know, what we talk about, and send that to several people, you know, through whatever channels I can find, and figure out if we actually can get review copies for the game. So, you know, who knows? We'll go through the process and do our due diligence, and maybe next year we'll be in a better position to review the game. But anyway.
Oh yeah, totally. And the exchange that we had was basically somebody had mentioned that a handful of people, you know, who didn't have huge YouTube audiences, you know, weren't huge in the media, they were getting these, you know, complete review packages, and basically I was like, well, you know, Matt and I, you know, clearly aren't famous. You know, there are a few people who know who we are. You know, it'd be nice. I'm not expecting it. Maybe next year, haha. And then I asked a serious question of, you know, how does this work? You know, how, you know, do you just get noticed? How does this work? And they, you know, no offense if it wasn't intended this way, but it seemed like they kind of smarted off a little bit, going, you know, it's not about, here we go, it's not about who you are or who you know. Opportunities are posted. And I was like, okay, where do you go to get these? And, you know, oh, well, it's not about free stuff. It's like, okay, you know, and then later on, you know, the person who responded to me contradicted a little bit, said, start a YouTube channel like the rest of them and see what comes your way. Okay.
No, I mean, let's not get too deep into this, but you know, I have some ideas about ways that we can reach out and make a case for getting a review copy. Whether we get one or not, you know, who knows? But we can at least put it out there.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I was just looking for clarity, and I still kind of am. I mean, I never expect to receive a review copy, but like, you know, Matt is saying, I would love the ability to give it a shot.
Yep. Abby, say hi to Craig Jones, new viewer on the stream.
Hello.
Abby is 7 years old, so we would appreciate you treating her like you would any other 7-year-old. All right, guys. That's it for news, right, Doug?
That is it. That is all the official stuff. Dark Spyro kind of locked down their official news topic, and nothing came out of any of the other channels other than, hey, where are you going? Hey, what do you get? And hey, what do you think about this? And that's not really news. That's opinion.
Awesome. Abby is about to fall asleep, so we're gonna let her do her thing. Abby, it's your week. Actually, you know what? I'm getting ahead of myself. Before we do that, let's play the bumper. Bumper time.
Skylander of the Week.
All right. So, Abby, it's your turn to pick Skylander of the Week. And as you know, Doug and I have been doing something different with Skylander of the Week for the past couple of weeks. We've been doing this new thing where the person whose turn it is picks the Skylander, but they don't tell anybody, and we don't put it in the notes, so nobody knows who it is going in. And we have to ask questions to try to figure out who the Skylander is, okay?
Okay.
So, have you picked a Skylander for this week?
Yes.
And you know who it is?
Yes.
Okay. So, Doug.
Of course I know who it is.
Good job,
Doug-
Matt. You wasted 3 questions.
Oh, dang it. All right, 17 questions to go. All right, so Doug and I have to ask questions and try to figure out who it is. So, Doug, I think you and I should take turns, and I'll keep track of how many questions we have. So, you want to go first?
Why not?
Okay. And this will be our first time doing this with Abby. So, who knows how this is going to go, but let's give it a shot. All right, go ahead, Doug. Ask your first question.
Is this character a girl?
Dang it, yes.
That was an awesome first question. All right. Doug, do you agree that we shouldn't try to narrow down the element next?
It probably wouldn't hurt, but give me just a second to I didn't think to get the list of Skylanders of the week up in front of me so that I could go ahead and just, take a look at who's left and who Abby would most likely have picked.
Oh no, cheater! Cheater!
He's not a cheater. He's just looking to see who's already been picked. So, and now that we know it's a girl character, it's going to be pretty easy to narrow it down.
It is.
All right, so I'm going to ask my question. Are you ready?
Yes.
Is this a life Skylander?
No.
Okay. So that's 2. Doug, your turn.
All right, hang on a second. All right, unfortunately it's just the ones that we've picked and not who we haven't picked.
Right.
Is it a gimmick lander, a non-core Skylander, such as a giant, a trap master, a swapper?
I think in the spirit of the rules of the game, you should have to ask each one of those questions separately.
Well,
No.
I meant, I was specifying, what a gimmick lander meant.
Yeah, but
No.
it's not. Okay.
No.
All right. Or you could simply just ask if it's a core figure, I guess, and get the same answer.
Yeah.
But, okay, so it's a core figure, a female core
No,
figure.
it's not a core figure.
Do you know what the difference between a core figure and a gimmick figure is?
Wait, is the core figure like the light up characters?
Light core?
Yes.
So a core figure is anything. So a core figure is anything that's not a giant,
Okay,
a
yeah.
trap master, or a swapper.
Yeah.
It is a core.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So it's a core figure. Okay. Is this a fire Skylander?
No.
Okay. Your turn, Doug.
Is it a tech Skylander?
No.
Is it a? I think I know who it is now. Is it a water Skylander?
Yes.
Okay, I know who it is. If you want to ask some more questions, Doug, just to narrow it down, but I'm pretty sure I know who it is. I think you probably do too now.
Is it chill?
Yes.
Awesome. Okay, cool. So our Skylander of the week is chill, right? Okay.
Yes.
So now the only bad part about this is normally this would be where Doug or I would have the notes pulled up on that character, whichever one of us chose it, and we'd be able to instantly go into all the information about that character. But you're gonna have to bear with me for just a moment while I pull up Chill on the wiki and get to her information. So.
Yep, I'm waiting for her to load as well.
Okay. And if this were not a live show, obviously, we have Chill's really cool sound effect here. I wonder if we can actually get that in here or not. I know the Skylanders website has been a little chaotic lately.
Well, dude, the last time you did that, you kept hitting the button, and it played over and over on the recording.
Did it really?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Well, it didn't...
You were spamming people with it. You couldn't hear it. It was just like, whoever it was, it just over and over and over again. And I was like, man, I wonder if he well, I guess he didn't realize it.
No, I didn't, because I couldn't hear it through the headphones. So for whatever reason, I don't know. So yeah, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do that this week. But what is Chill's motto? We can just pretend. We'll have Abby say Chill's motto. Okay, so Chill's motto is stay cool. So Abby, do your best Chill impersonation and say stay cool.
I don't even know what she sounds like.
We'll just make it up.
Stay cool!
Okay, there you go. All right, so Doug, you want to read Chill's bio for us?
Sure. Chill was the sworn guardian and personal protector of the Snow Queen. As captain of the Queen's Guard, her many heroic deeds earned her the respect of the entire Ice Kingdom. But when the Cyclops army began to expand their empire into the northern realms, the Snow Queen was taken prisoner during her watch, and Chill has never forgiven herself for letting it happen. Ashamed and embarrassed, she left the Ice Kingdom behind and swore never to return until she could reclaim her honor. Now, as a member of the Skylanders, she remains courageous and strong, while always on the lookout for her lost queen.
Whoa, okay, very cool. Sorry, I was typing a message to Craig Jones, who said that I should have to buy Abby lots of candy for helping out with the stream today.
I don't think you should, because I fell asleep.
Oh, so that's your punishment? You don't get candy?
Yeah.
Oh, no, that's not true. No, we're going to be buying lots of Skylanders tomorrow, so that's better than candy.
Yes, please. Yes, please, candy.
All right, cool. So, Abby, what do you like about Chill, first of all? Tell everybody why you chose Chill.
Well, she was one of the first giant girls.
Mm-hmm.
She was one of the first girls in the actual Skylanders series.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so I was really excited about that
Mm-hmm.
because I think the boys just were a little old by now.
Yeah, so that's a good point. If you think back, oh man, Tony says one of us has to say the catchphrase now every week. It's a new thing. We'll take that under advisement, Tony. If you think back to Spyro's Adventure, the first game that came out, was a fantastic game, but didn't have a ton of representation of female characters. If I'm not mistaken, you only had Stealth Elf and Whirlwind, right?
And
Cinder.
Hex.
Okay, Hex and
Cinder and
Cinder.
Hex.
That's true, yeah.
So you only had 4 girls before Shield.
Yep, that's true. But, Cinder, Whirlwind were both kind of dragon types, so they weren't exactly like humanoid-y. And I mean, nobody really likes Stealth Elf. Come on, let's be honest. So, we were really excited when Chill got announced, because oh great, they're doing another female character, and that was very cool for Abby. Go ahead.
So I was about to choose Stealth Elf, and then I was just like, nope, too overrated.
Too overrated, too overused, right?
Yeah.
All right, let's look at. Well, first of all, let's say that Chill is from the water element. Obviously, she is species unknown, but she's clearly an elf or some kind of Skyland's elf character. She's
a human.
Well, there's no humans in Skylands.
She's a humanoid.
Yeah. So, Chill has been released originally in Giants. There's also a Legendary Chill. There is a Light Core Chill. And a Series 2 Chill. So there are 4 actual figures out there that you can pick up if you're looking to get Chill. Now let's talk about her powers. Her primary attack is called Ice Javelin. Press Attack 1 button to throw a spinning Ice Javelin. Her secondary ability is Ice Wall. Press Attack 2 to summon a wall of ice. Can use for protection or to knock back enemies. Her Soul Gem ability is called Call the Narwhal. Hold Attack 1 to charge and summon a Narwhal friend.
I
I remember once when I was playing with Chill and like I was fighting Chaos, I think, and all I did was just mash the narwhal button, and like it only took like 3 damage to him.
Yeah.
It just like stabbed him, and I just laughed so hard that my face turned red.
I love characters that can summon sea creatures, so that's always fun. For basic upgrades, Chill has the Great Wall. Hold attack 2 to extend the length of an ice wall. Glacial Bash. Press attack 3 to bash enemies and ice wall blocks with your shield. Imperial Armor. New armor provides increased protection. And Cold Front. Hold attack 3 to keep the shield raised and block attacks from the front. Chill has 2 upgrade paths, obviously. You can either develop her Ice Javelin attacks or her Ice Wall and Glacial Bash abilities. So the first path for Ice Javelin is called Ice Lancer, and the attack one is Burr Blade. New Ice Javelin does increased damage. Then she has Shatter Spear. Javelins now split into separate ice spears when passing through an ice wall, and then triple javelins throw 3 ice javelins at once. The second upgrade path is called Frozen Fury. Icebreaker. Ice wall blocks explode when struck by an ice javelin or by an enemy on the rocks. Exploding ice blocks freeze enemies into ice cubes on their own. And Better Bash. Glacial Bash hits multiple enemies and ice wall blocks in a larger area. So here's where our Skylander of the Week theory crafting may fall apart a little bit. I don't know that we've actually gotten Chill fully upgraded in any of the games. Do you, Abby?
No.
Doug, what about you? Hopefully you can come in and save the day here.
Nope. Emily, plus it's Emily's character, so, but the only person that I know who actually upgraded her was my friend Lance, who I used to work with, who loved her in the arena mode. Apparently he figured out how to use the ice wall to great effect. He said that it was pretty much devastating once you got it leveled all the way up because you could just destroy people with it. I never did see her get to that point, and the couple of times that I ran out of characters and grabbed her for easy access, it didn't seem that impressive. So maybe it's a skill thing. I'm not really sure. I personally would have gone with the Ice Lancer path, just because I'm more all about direct damage versus any kind of defense or indirect damage like with the ice wall attacks. But that's just me. I don't have the personal experience. So if anybody who is in the live audience has any direct experience with Chill, please let us know so that we can definitively tell the post live listening audience.
All right, let's do this another way. Abby, if you had to choose between upgrading the Ice Lance or the Ice Wall, which one would you go with?
Which is which? I forgot.
So the Ice Lance is the stabby thing, and the Ice Wall is where she makes the big ice blocks show up on the screen.
I would probably go with Ice Lancer.
Yep.
Because, I think my strategy with just pressing buttons would go handy with that. Because,
Okay.
all it does is just shoot these little blades out.
Go team spammer.
Fair enough. That's a good strategy. And I think the key takeaway for Chill would be that she can summon a narwhal, regardless of which path you go down. So even if it's not the most effective attack in the world, it's probably one of the coolest. So there you go. Doug, have you had I know you haven't had a chance yet to look up any pricing on Chill, but maybe you just happen to know off the top of your head more
Actually,
or less what she's priced at.
I did that when you first started talking about the abilities.
And see, that's the synergy that you get with the Skycast hosts, right? I jump in and I pull up the wiki to read about the powers and stuff, and then Doug instantly goes for the pricing information because he knows I'm going to go there. Way to go, Doug.
Yep, and just as a heads up to anybody who's listening live right now, if you don't have Boomer and don't care about him being complete, there is somebody who has one that is completely intact. The paint looks good. They have it buy it now for $8.95 with free shipping, which I thought was fantastic since it's posted below 2 factory sealed ones that are shipping free for $100.
I've also been seeing Boomer at GameStop pretty regularly lately for like $11. So
I always see him packed into these like $20 or $25 double packs with some random starter figure that should not nearly add anything to that equation. And so, but back to Chill. It looks like the standard version is available for between like $3 factory sealed or loose. Looks like there's not a whole big difference between loose and loose complete, but it ranges from about $3 to about $12. Probably $5 to $10 is the true range on it. And I'm seeing the same thing on the Series 2. Can't remember the specific name of the Series 2. It actually had a gimmick. Oh, Blizzard. There we go. Blizzard Chill. Looks like she's in about the same boat. The Legendary one, it looks like it's a little less common, but for the most part, it seems like about $5 to $10 sealed or opened is going to be about the deal that you're going to see on these.
I didn't even know there was a Legendary Chill. So
well, she's a Legendary Light Core.
Okie doke.
Yep.
Okay.
She gets the double whammy on you.
Awesome. All right, guys. Well, that's Chill. She's our pick for Skylander of the week. This is always where we do the second audio drop. So, Abby, if you'll do the honors and say Chill's catchphrase one more time.
Stay cool!
All right, Abby, thanks for picking Chill as our Skylander of the week. And if you'd like, you can feel free to sign off and say goodnight to everyone and go do whatever it is you want to do until I get done with the show.
Good night.
Bye, Abby.
And hi and bye, Red Vamp.
Yeah, Red Vamp, thanks for tuning in. So I'll come check on you here in just a little bit when we wrap up.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, guys. I think we're just going to jump straight into fan feedback at this point. Let me do that drop now. Letters from Skylands. Okay, Doug. I think to start out fan feedback, the first thing we should do is go ahead and give Hoarder Gamer a call, since he's been hanging on the line with us here for well over an hour, waiting on the opportunity to jump in. So you're going to hear the blinky blinky sound of a Skype call starting up, and we'll hopefully get Hoarder Gamer on the line with us. I think to start feedback, the first thing we should do is go ahead and give Mr. Hoarder Gamer. Hello.
Hi, Doug.
Hello. Oh,
Would you mind muting the stream for us? There you go. Awesome. Hey, welcome to the show.
Hey, good to be here.
So, Hoarder Gamer is one of the original kind of Mini Kaboom fans and listeners who got on board with us. And you actually said it was before Extra Life last year, right? Was it during our Minecraft era by any chance?
Some of the it was even before Minecraft, actually.
Wow.
So I think it was a few months before that.
Awesome. Well, you're it's certainly good to have you on the show for the
Thanks.
first time. Yeah. And so, what are you thinking about SuperChargers coming out tomorrow? Are you as pumped up as we are?
I am pumped. I'm really looking forward to Fiesta and Crypt Crusher. Those are the two main ones I'm really looking forward to.
Oh yeah, Doug. I know you're in the same boat there.
Yep, they are must grabs, and they are first grabs based on the fact that they're short packed. Yeah, go figure. Any character that I love, everybody just forget about being able to get easily. It's gonna go straight into the toilet.
Yeah, and I'm sure you heard earlier, Hoarder Gamer. I got some potentially bad news that I may not be able to get Shark Tank and Terrafin tomorrow. So I'm not super happy about that news, but hopefully it's just a rumor and that won't be the case when we get to the store. But Doug's going to let me know at approximately 12:01 a.m. this morning, right?
Well, I have a feeling I'm still going to be shoving stuff into a shopping cart at that point, so...
You'll be fighting with the other rabid Skylanders fans trying to get everything off the shelf.
Hey, I know approximately how many elbows it takes for an old lady to get out of my way, so... Just kidding, fans, just kidding.
All right, so Hoarder Gamer, let's find out a little bit about you. What is your favorite Skylanders game?
My favorite game for Skylanders, I would have to say, is either Swap Force or Trap Team. Hard to pick between the two, though, to be honest with you. They get more polished and more interesting as each game goes on, but Swap Force had these super long, awesome levels with save points and everything, which I thought was really awesome. And Trap Team was even just more polished, and I liked playing as villains. That was fun.
Yeah, I think I'm probably in more or less the same boat with you there. So what about your favorite character? Who are maybe one or several of your favorite Skylanders of all time?
I love Pop Fizz because Bobcat Goldthwait does the voice, and I'm a Bobcat fan. So that one right there. Chaos, it's the same voice actor who does Invader Zim. So even though there's not a figure, it's one of my favorite characters.
Awesome. So are you excited about Big Bubble Pop Fizz, obviously, with SuperChargers?
I won't lie, I saw some of the video footage of the actual gameplay, and I was turned off on it at first, but I do love his little hydrofoil-type vehicle. That looks amazing. I'll probably end up getting Pop Fizz, though, just because it's him.
Yeah, I don't know. I can see how, like, if you're into the very traditional Pop Fizz, the figure design might be a little off-putting, but I just kind of like it a lot. I was in marching band for many years, so the whole idea of walking around with a big tuba strapped on your back is just a fun little mental image for me. So I'm looking forward to being able to play as him as well. So have you had any opportunities to play SuperChargers early or anything, or are you in the same boat with the rest of us getting ready to head out and
So it was a fun debacle. I was at Toys R Us last Saturday, and a lot of the Toys R Us's had issues setting up and getting updates on their Xbox Ones and everything. So I got a total of like 5 minutes with the game with Unskippable Cinemas. Or no, 10 minutes with Unskippable Cinemas.
Yeah.
What I played was cool, though. But they had that whole issue when you put the car down, it couldn't register because it was on this metal tray or something. They had to fix that, and they didn't know what to do at that time.
Interesting.
There were Toys R Us coupons, though. There were specific coupons they gave out that were interesting there.
So, I think we've got a little audio bleed through on your end. Sorry about that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Might be just your speakers bleeding through. So Toys R Us, a little tip for the future. Try using PS4 instead of the Xbox One for your demonstrations. You might have better luck.
And put a couple of phone books underneath your portal so that it doesn't interfere with anything going on the RFID reader.
Well, Hoarder Gamer, awesome. Thank you very much for coming on the show. Is there anything you want any last comments or questions or anything you want to throw out there?
No, I just want to say if everyone else is a fan of Fiesta, keep in mind that GameStop has their exclusive Frightful Fiesta, which looks amazing. So, yeah.
So,
I'll be there at midnight, though, at Toys R Us to check that out, too, though.
Is Frightful Fiesta going to be in the store tomorrow, as far as we know?
As far as I know, yes.
He's supposed to be, and if I don't know if you can still do it, probably, because I don't think all the stock would nearly be allocated, but early on you could technically set it up for a pre-order to pick up in-store without any issues. They actually mentioned that to me when I was in there putting some money on my pre-orders for the Nintendo ones after I found out about the comics, so technically you've still got about 47 minutes to be able to pre-order that character.
Pre-order, like they're not sitting in a box in the back of the store at this point. All right, well, Hoarder Gamer, hope you'll come back and hang out with us tomorrow. We'll be streaming all day long probably, so maybe we'll get to do some racing and stuff tomorrow.
Excellent. Can I ask one quick thing real quick to Doug?
Oh, absolutely. Go ahead.
Doug, do we know yet if the Chaos Trophy actually has race tracks at all, like the other trophies, or not?
Not as far as anybody has said. I've seen a lot of people tweeting that, basically that exact phrase, at Activision and several other accounts, and nobody has come up with anything. As far as I know, it just unlocks the Chaos specific stuff. My guess would be it would probably unlock at least one specific track that is probably Chaos themed, or maybe it's got a bunch of villains in the stands watching the race or something like that. But it's the only thing we know for certain at this point is it unlocks Chaos as far as being able to race against him and with him as a character.
Awesome, thank you very much.
Cool. All right, good luck with your shopping, and maybe we'll talk tomorrow. Take care.
Sounds good. Have a good one.
Later. We need to do more of that, Doug. It's always cool to interact with the fans.
It is, but we're so bad at it. It's amazing that people keep tuning into these live casts. Not that I'm discouraging anybody from doing it. We have gotten progressively better, but
the only thing that I worry about with live stuff is we try really really hard to keep everything that we do like G or barely PG. So and Doug and I have kind of trained ourselves over a couple of years of doing this to censor our what would otherwise be horrible potty mouths. But yeah, I mean, it's that was an awesome conversation that we just had with Horror Gamers. So thanks a lot for doing that. Let's go ahead and get into some of our written fan feedback. So we had a pretty active week on Twitter. Really enjoying the interactions and conversations that we're having with people there. If you're not already following us on Twitter, I believe our ID is scrolling across the bottom of the screen periodically, and it's simply mini_kaboom, because mini kaboom was taken. That's not us, so don't follow whoever that is. Held Author threw out an interesting suggestion. He said, mini kaboom, or mini_kaboom, do you keep show notes for the Skycast someplace? I couldn't find any, but I might not be looking in the right spot. No, you're not looking in the wrong spot. We do show notes every week. Doug does the majority of the work on that, which involves combing through all the news sites and everything and putting it all together into the document. And then that's what Doug and I follow along with when we do the show. We're basically going through those show notes and trying to follow our format as closely as we can. We have not yet published those in a way that other people can look at. I guess we have mixed feelings about doing that because sometimes we put like comments in there that are not necessarily intended for public consumption, and sometimes we'll also type notes to each other in the show notes as we're doing the show if we need to communicate something without actually saying it in audio, like if I need to go off headphones for a second or something like that. So it would be more work definitely to publish those in a publicly readable way. I don't know, Doug, what do you think about it? Let's do some podcast business here live on the air.
Well, I was the one who kind of threw those out at you as reasons not to put the stuff out there, because I don't think anybody really wants or needs to know, got to go to the bathroom, be right back. Or, my washer exploded, be right back. That's not going to be relevant to anybody. And a couple of the things that Held Author had mentioned as far as like maybe making it searchable for Skylanders of the week or the particular paths that we recommended, that's not stuff that we actually put in the notes. So I mean, we could potentially start putting up like a digest or something, not necessarily the notes that we operate off of, but kind of like summations of the highlights of what we go in and do. I mean, like the news pieces, they're pretty much self-explanatory. Like one that I skipped somehow, earlier, event exclusive hot streak big giveaway at NYC TRU SuperChargers midnight launch. I've got that, and I've got the link where I found the little blurb where people were talking about it. That's easy enough to understand. It's not really encoded. We polish it up a little bit when we start discussing news topics, so we could cut and paste those, and those would be easily deciphered. We'd have to put in a little more work for like the Skylander of the week and stuff like that, because the only thing that's typically in there is the bio, and then usually like the number of editions and the pricing. As far as like all of the powers and stuff, that's thank goodness for the Skylanders wiki. I don't know if we've ever really given them props, but whoever maintains that, I don't know if that's an official Wikipedia thing or if it's somebody's personal wiki, but whoever does that, thank you so much for letting us abuse your knowledge week after week. Most of that is read live, on the air, straight off of their page, minus the bio stuff, which is typically in the notes.
Maybe we should do this. Maybe we should at least try for a couple of weeks to, when I post the actual show on the website, I'll just go through the news from the show notes, and I'll just copy paste all the links into the show. It'll be just a little bit of extra time for me, and then the Skylander of the week, basically like Doug said, it's just the wiki page. That's all we do there, and our own commentary, which you've already heard at that point. So what we do have though that we could also probably share, maybe just link it up from the Skycast webpage, is we've started keeping a running total of our Skylanders of the week, so that we don't accidentally repeat one. So I could put a link up to that document because that's easily something we could share. And let's try that. We'll make an effort, Haldother, over the next couple of weeks to try to provide some of that content in a way that you can get to. So good suggestion. We really appreciate it. We always try to take what you guys want into consideration and try our best to make it happen. So. Okay, next tweet was from Tony on the Mountain, who is in our chat with us right now. Tony said, Mini Kaboom Mega Collector, you can only choose one Skylander Supercharger vehicle and pilot for each road, sea, and air. Go. And Doug, you chose obviously Roller Brawl, Dive Clops, and Stormblade, and then their matched up vehicles. Surprising no one, you chose Roller Brawl.
Well, you know.
I chose Terrafin for all three because I think you can drive a tank pretty much anywhere, right? You can make a tank fly if you want to bad enough, and it can go underwater because it's a tank, and of course it can go on land. So that was a cool question, though. Tony on the Mountain, thanks for sharing that with us. We also got some feedback on our Disney Infinity purchases. So those of you that are in the live show directly behind me, I'm sure you can see the Disney Infinity box that's sitting on my couch that I haven't opened yet. We, like Doug said earlier, we thought the price was just too good to pass up. So $90 for 2 play sets, the game itself, and the Boba Fett figure. That's pretty much all the money I think I'm going to drop on Disney Infinity at all. And I may pick up the Episode 7 pack, like you said, Doug, when it comes out. But I feel fairly comfortable with the money I spent relative to what value I know I'm going to get out of it. But we did get some pushback on Twitter. Jay South said, "Weak you are," and I read it in the Yoda voice when I read it mentally. So, and then Patient Zero, who had encouraged me just a week ago to get it, said, "Welcome to the team. Embrace the toy boxes for download. Some are bad, but there are some good ones too." I am going to have to try that out. That may actually add a lot of gameplay to the experience. And Doug, we should make an effort to try to do some online toy boxing and see if that's actually fun or not.
It might be, but that still, that kind of reinforces my I wouldn't say preconceptions, but my hands-off impressions of the game, having watched you and Abby play with it. You really shouldn't have to depend on the Minecraft component to really save it, and you really shouldn't have to to basically worry about what other people have created to make the game fun. I mean, it should add value to it, but you shouldn't basically go, okay, well, here's a blank slate, good luck. You shouldn't wait for your community to really add all of the serious content to your game.
And it worked for Little Big Planet, right?
Couldn't tell you. Never got into it.
There you go. So yeah, we'll once we get bored with Superchargers, maybe we'll open Disney Infinity and actually play it. But for now, we at least have it. So progress. I threw out the question. What is the first thing you're going to put on the portal when you finally get Superchargers? So Hallie Lee from Facebook said, my Spyro figure. So people are still, to this day, even though Spyro is kind of an afterthought, still always going to throw Spyro on the portal first thing as a show of solidarity. What about you, Doug?
Honestly, it's probably going to be one of the starter figures. It'll probably be, Spitfire and Hot Streak, and I'll just continue to go through and scan everybody who will scan, although based on the early reports, it sounds like I'm going to have to rescan a bunch of people if they bother to patch it.
Are you going to go through the trouble of doing all the swap combos as well?
No, you don't have to do that. That was just for an achievement in Swap Force. But one thing that I'm really thinking about doing, I may go ahead and create it up tonight, and then that can be something we can share on minikaboom.com, or we can tweet out like a Google Docs link or a Dropbox link or something. I'm going to create a spreadsheet to show which characters basically don't scan, don't show up in the collection screen, and then anybody who's listening to this live or after the fact, feel free to grab that, and then if you've got the same characters, basically see if you're having the same same experience or similar experience. That way we can track down whether it's certain characters are glitched or if it's just kind of, random as far as, sometimes it'll accept characters and sometimes it won't. And that would give us a better idea of if it truly is kind of a glitch or if it's, say, it'll scan the first version of a figure that you put on and then it ignores everything else. We know that it could possibly be intentional in them trying to slim down the amount of scrolling you've got to do in a collector's screen.
Yeah, that's a cool idea. Yeah, definitely throw that my way, and I'll post it for you.
And for anybody who is listening to this, who happens to run their own social media accounts and websites and things, I have not seen this idea anywhere else as of 8:26 p.m. Eastern time on the 19th. If I see this tweeted out or posted on your website after I've done it and we're not mentioned, I will call you out on it.
Dun dun. Yep, I'm with you there, Doug. We won't go into detail about what brought that on, but for sure, this is Doug's idea, so don't copy Doug. Okay, so and Tony responded to that as well. Tony on the Mountain said, am I saying that right? Tony Mountain or Tony on the Mountain? It's Tony on a Mountain said, I want to see Love Potion, Pop Fizz, Drink and Drive. I thought that was pretty funny. Don't drink and drive, kids. But if you're drinking Love Potions and driving fantasy vehicles, then I suppose it's okay. Whew. All right, Doug. That's all I got. Do you have anything else?
Don't forget, if you haven't got it, if you're going to be going midnight tonight or you're going to be waiting at the doors of your favorite retailer tomorrow, remember to grab the checklist that we provided. You can get it at minikaboom.com. You can scroll back through the mini_kaboom tweets. There should be links for it. I created both an Excel version and then a PDF version, depending on what systems you're on. One or the other, perhaps both, should be compatible. And basically, it just gives you a complete listing of what should be available at whatever retailer for Wave 1 at launch. And then, just in case, I went ahead and included Wave 2 on it because some locations, usually Toys R Us's, will go ahead and have that stuff on hand and put it out and not have it register locked. So if you luck into Wave 2, if you happen to see some of the oddball characters there, you'll know who you need to grab, what assortments you should be seeing. And just as a quick mention, since we did have one of the triple packs in there, I can't remember specifically what the prices were that were mentioned. I saw it, I think it was myskylanders.de mentioned it, or it was somebody had retweeted something that was not in English, because I saw like euros mentioned or some other non-US currency that I didn't recognize and didn't know the conversion rate for. Apparently, it actually is going to save you a little bit of money if you buy the triple packs. If you buy the Terrafin, Shark Tank, and Jetstream triple pack, and then you pick up Jetvac, separately. Jetvac is supposed to be an individual figure in the regular one anyway. He's supposed to be an individual figure in Wave 3, or you've got the legendary one in Wave 1. Apparently, buying the triple pack plus the single character will save you at least $1 or $2. Just squinting real hard at the numbers, I'm assuming that's correct. They did say it was a deal, so if you don't have to have everything in hand the moment that it's there, which again, is not necessarily all of our listeners and certainly not me, that's something to think about, because that's another way for you to save a few dollars.
Yep. And that checklist that Doug mentioned, I'm going to throw up on my screen here. You can go to minikaboom.com/Skylanders. So that's our hub page. We've talked about it on the show for a couple of weeks now. The countdown is down to 3 hours and 30 minutes. And I know, Doug, you're anxious to get on the road and get in line, so we'll wrap this up. But the checklist is there. If you're heading out for midnight launches, I recommend that you print this out, because it's really cool. It's basically everything that's available Wave 1, and a nice little checkbox and what the case packings are and what retailer it's going to be at. So very nice work on that, Doug. And I will also take just a minute to plug our launch day stream tomorrow. So let's go back to that. So tomorrow, I said noon, but the reality is we may start a lot earlier than that. because
Well, not with me, you won't.
well, so originally I didn't know when I scheduled this that Toys R Us was going to be open at 8 a.m. Or I knew, but I just hadn't really thought about it. So assuming we can get to Toys R Us at 8 a.m. in the morning, get in line, get everything we need, there are no hiccups, we don't have to go to any other stores, all that, yada, yada, yada. We should be home and ready to stream by like 10:30 maybe. So we may get started kind of early. But regardless of that, it won't change the fact that we'll be streaming probably until about 5 or 6 o'clock tomorrow. So I know, Doug, at some point after you do your unboxing rituals and all that, you're going to try to join us, and I look forward to playing online Skylanders for the first time with you tomorrow, as well as any of you fans that want to join us for that tomorrow as well. So while you're playing through the game, if you want to throw us up in the background on your iPad or something and just hang out with us, and then add us on PSN. So we will be playing on PSN to start with. I'm not ruling out the possibility of getting the game on other platforms so we can play with a wider group of people. But, you know, for launch, we have to kind of keep costs down and keep things in a perspective and not spend too much money or my wife will kill me. But yeah, so PSN to start with. The address is at the top of the screen. It's minikaboom.com is the PSN name. Send us a friend request, and when we hop on tomorrow, we'll try to do some online play with everyone. So,
just a heads up. You know, you may not have much of an audience if you start streaming that early. So if you and Abby want to go ahead and start playing, you may want to go ahead and you know, do that, but not stream, because taking into account that a lot of folks are going to be going to either multiple places or aren't necessarily going to Toys R Us. Best Buy and GameStop do not open early tomorrow, pretty much anywhere that I've been able to see, and it looks like it's universal across the board Sunday hours for both places that they don't open until 11. So noon is probably still the sweet spot to be able to get everybody at home, you know, with their purchases and have a chance of them going ahead and tuning in and listening to us and watching us and playing with us and stuff. Because if they're not specifically going to Toys R Us only and then going home, they're probably not going to be home until 11:30 or noon.
Oh, fair enough. We can get started and just kind of piddle around for a little bit and explore and maybe run a mission or two and then just see who hops in. So.
Plus, that would make me really jealous if you start without me.
Well, you know, I can't wait on you, Doug. I got to get my hands on this game, and if I'm going to play it, I might as well stream it. So,
does that mean I got to play half of it tonight?
You know, if you want to come home tonight, I'll give you the stream key, and you can throw up a stream and get started early if you want. But
that's a possibility.
Yep. All right, guys. Well, thanks for hanging out with us on episode 31. Our Skylanders SuperChargers pre-launch special, SuperChargers hype. We wish you all the best of luck getting out to your respective retailers tomorrow and picking up all of your launch day purchases. And we look forward to hanging out with you on the launch day stream tomorrow and subsequent podcasts. So, Doug, any last words?
Did we get everything in the notes? Let's do one quick rundown in the notes just to make sure that we promote everything, because we're going to be so busy tomorrow that if we miss anything, I'm going to feel bad that, you know, at least for a week until we put out another podcast or a live stream or what have you.
We didn't talk about Extra Life, but we've got plenty of time to do Extra Life stuff after launch week is over. The usual, you know, go follow us on Twitter and Facebook and all that stuff. I'm not going to waste anybody's time with that. We're all far too excited about new video games to do that. Oh, hey, it looks like Tony might want to come on the show. Hey, let's see if we can get that going here real quick. While I'm adding Tony and setting up that call here, I had kind of a watershed life moment this week, Doug. Thank you for reminding me to check back in on the notes here. So I was sitting at work yesterday, and was just kind of keeping an eye on Twitter like I do occasionally, and I saw a tweet from Jeff Gersman, who I follow on my personal Twitter account, and he said something to the effect of, sitting at an airport bored, ask me anything. I'm like, Oh, come on. He's not really going to reply to any old random idiot who sends him a message, right? So I hopped over to the Mini Kaboom account, where incidentally I don't follow Jeff, and I just sent him a message and said, who's better, Drobot or Spyro? And he wrote back and said, Drobot, of course. If those of you who don't know who Jeff is Jeff Gersman is a former GameSpot reviewer and personality, and he left GameSpot. Am I saying that right? I always get GameSpot and GameStop mixed up. Yeah, I'm saying it right. GameSpot. He left them in the early 2000s, I want to say, like 2005, 2006, somewhere around in there, and started a website called GiantBomb.com. And it's one of my favorite places to go to learn about video games. It's certainly not family-friendly or kid-friendly, so parents out there, this is not an endorsement for you to let your kids go to that website. But if you are interested in keeping up with games and the game industry from kind of an adult perspective, it's an awesome site. They have a fantastic podcast called the Giant Bombcast that I listen to every week. It's one of my favorite podcasts of all time. It's one of the podcasts that kind of inspired me to start this podcast, in fact. And just, getting any kind of acknowledgement at all from Jeff was an awesome moment. But anyway, that's just me being a fanboy, I guess, right?
Maybe a little bit.
Okay, cool. So it looks like Tony is online. Let's see if we can conference Tony in here and just say hi. I have to figure out how Skype works first before I can pull this off. Tony, add to group call. There we go. Okay. Hey, Tony, are you there?
I am. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Get up as close to your mic as you can, because you're a little lower than the rest of the audio, if you don't mind.
Sure, I will try to adjust it. Is that any better?
Much better, yeah. Hey, welcome to the Skycast, Tony.
Thank you. I am both thrilled and honored to be on.
Aw, shucks. Little old Skycast, man. We've really enjoyed interacting with you over the past couple of weeks on Twitter and stuff, and really glad to have you on board. Always love our enthusiastic listeners. So it's the night before SuperChargers. How do you feel? Tell us what your launch day plans are looking like. What's on your mind?
As you mentioned earlier, I was lucky enough to finagle a copy of SuperChargers from a Walmart.
Oh yes.
So I've already played through. I'm guessing about half of the levels. And just to preface that, I literally started playing Skylanders. I don't know, like a week and a half ago, two and a half weeks ago.
Wow! Oh, awesome.
Yeah, my wife, who is an expert couponer, discovered the Target cartwheel deal for the Trap Team starters at like $12.63.
Nice.
And had said, hey, do you want to, this is available, this price, is that something you're interested in? I was like, well, I mean, how can you go wrong with getting a brand new video game for $12 that comes with, toys? So I got it, and I played it. I have an Xbox 360 and a 3DS. So I got the 360 version. I went home, played it, just immediately fell in love with it. The humor, Flynn, just like his character is amazing. And the sarcasm within the game really caught me off guard. I'm a huge Pokemon fan, and I actually think this is better than Pokemon. So I've literally been playing for a couple weeks, and the first thing I always do when I get heavy into something is I look for podcasts and to get more information about it. And as you mentioned early on, you're the only Skylanders podcast, and certainly the best. Not even the best podcast, but I believe the best source of Skylanders news and entertainment out there.
Well, thank you very much for that. we just regurgitate a lot of stuff that other people come up with, and we try to give them credit for that as much as we can. But I think we put our own little spin on things whenever we can, right, Doug?
As best we're able to. It's a lot of opinions based on the facts that are out there. At least I have a relative handful of sources because I can only search so much, and I typically do a lot of my research at work. Not on the job, on my breaks and my lunch and stuff. I'll sit at my desk. Primarily because it's a lot easier to cut and paste the stuff and make the notes and everything on a full sized desktop machine versus trying to sit there with my tablet. And by the time I get home, I've got to make time to play with my son. Not that it's something I don't want to do, but I can't, sit at a desktop, PC or Mac and then, have him, crawling on me or, actually interact with him. So I'll, have a tablet at hand to deal with, whatever I need to online and then, be playing with him in the floor and everything. So it's not as widespread a net as it could be, but, it gets the job done. But thanks for your praise for that.
So, Tony, I have a question for you. If the listeners will indulge me just a little bit, just from a market research kind of perspective, were we easy to find? I mean, because what you described there is like my ideal scenario for getting a new listener. It's somebody who just found Skylanders and said, wow, this is awesome. I love it, and I want to learn everything I can about it. So did you come across us pretty easily, or did you have to really dig to find us?
I mean, it must have been pretty easy because I don't even recall the method I used. I mean, I'm assuming I just went to Google, typed in Skylanders podcast, and I think maybe 3 things popped up, and yours just seemed to be, the most put together. Like, it just seemed like you had everything in place, and I just started listening, and I literally just downloaded the first 5 episodes and started listening, and then downloaded the other 25 episodes that I needed to catch up on before this weekend. And I literally finished the last episode I think 3 hours ago.
Wow.
I mean, yeah.
Awesome. Well, cool, man. That's just so encouraging to hear. We don't have a huge audience yet. I mean, we're growing, bit by bit, and so every single listener matters to us. So thank you so much for taking the time to come on and give us a shout out. And I'm very jealous that you've been playing the game, but I'm going to try not to hold that against you. I know it's not your fault.
I cannot wait for you guys to get to the library level.
Yeah.
And then the level directly after that, I'm calling the Mega Collector level.
Oh, nice. I'm excited to see what that is. So hopefully we'll hit that tomorrow as we go through stuff. So you said you're on the 360, so it doesn't sound like we'll be able to play together right this second. But hopefully, come hang out with us tomorrow while we're doing the launch stream if you're not too busy playing, and we'll chat some more.
Oh, absolutely. I'm getting up with. I have an almost 3-year-old who is just as much into the game as I am. He can just about move the characters around the academy, and interact with stuff and shoot boxes and do some other stuff. And then I have a 2-month-old. Ugh. And
not quite ready for Skylands.
Yeah, and my wife and I we run a bed and breakfast up in the Catskill Mountains, so she has to get up tomorrow morning to do breakfast. But I am dragging the kids out at 6:30 in the morning to drive down to about an hour away to a mall area that's got a Target, a Toys R Us, a Best Buy, and a GameStop, all right there. So that's my plan tomorrow, and then gonna come home, put you guys on, and just start playing with all the new vehicles. I thought that I might lose a little bit of hype because I've been playing it for a few days, but I'm actually more excited to go get the other vehicles and the other characters and stuff, and get them in the game and go back and play the stuff I've already played again.
Awesome. Well. I'm looking forward to tomorrow as well. We'll definitely see you in the Twitch chat. And I guess I'm going to try to wrap things up here because I know Doug is very anxious to get to his destination and get in line, and I don't want to deprive him of that.
I would be too.
Yeah. But thanks so much, man, and we'll talk soon. Okay.
You're welcome.
All right.
Absolutely.
Later on.
Thank you, guys.
Yep. See ya.
Thank you.
All right, Doug. I'm gonna let you go, man. I know you've been on here much longer than you anticipated, and you've got a long drive ahead of you. So good luck. I look forward to your check-in text messages later on tonight. And guys, thank you all for hanging out with us on episode 31. The next time we talk, SuperChargers will be out, and it'll be in a whole different world. We'll have so many more things to talk about. So until then, we are out. Okay, and for you live viewers, we have Doug. If you want to go ahead and split, man, feel free. I'm gonna take one more Skype call before we head off. So,
No, I'm cool. At least in the short term. If it's gonna be a couple of minutes, I can still hang out.
okay, we have a new viewer, Aiden, who wants to talk to us on Skype. So, Aiden, sorry you caught us at the tail end of the actual podcast part of the show, but I'm gonna go ahead and add you on Skype, and we'll just say hi. Real quick here. So sit tight, and I'll send you a friend request, whatever that was. I hope it wasn't important. So let's see. Aiden, it says Aiden's from Russia, so hopefully Aiden speaks English. So we'll give this a shot. Who knows what'll happen?
Hey, it's expanding our Skycast map.
Yeah, hey, we love our international listeners. So guys, those of you tuned in, just fair warning, this is a totally new person that we haven't talked with or interacted with before. So who knows what we're gonna get here? So it might be anything could happen. So hey, Cuddle, what's up? Welcome to the show. Better late than never. Okay, Aiden, I added you. Doug, can you type at him? I'm having a tough time reaching over my microphone to type. Can you tell Aiden that we added him and we're waiting on him to accept the friend request?
Yep.
Okay. If that may not be his Skype ID because it came back as a Russian name. So unless you're Russian, Aiden, you gave us the wrong Skype ID. If you are Russian, that's fine. But
well, you did get a new Twitter follower tonight with Cyrillic. So
yeah. Oh hey, yeah. Okay, cool. Let's give a shout out to new Twitch followers. So. Wow, Tony, thanks for following. Tony on a Mountain, Long Hair 5150, thank you for following, and we got a new Twitter follower as well. So very cool. So Tony or Aiden, sorry, I'm gonna go ahead and I don't see you showing up. Resend contact request. We'll give it a couple more minutes here, Aiden. If we can't connect up, maybe we can get you on the next stream. Cuddle, I saw that tweet, man. That's very disappointing. Cuddle was at Walmart, and they had SuperChargers out on the shelf, but it was register locked, and he couldn't buy it. So that's a huge bummer.
Well, he's got to wait in line like the rest of us. So.
Yeah, that's right. No special treatment for the Cuddle Muffin. All right, let's see. We'll see if Aiden adds us. Maybe he gave us the wrong name. Oh. All right, Aiden. I'm not sorry, man. It's not showing up, and I hate to do this, but you did catch us like at the very tail end of the broadcast here. So I tell you what, man. Follow us on Twitch. Just hit the follow button, and we'll get you on the next show. Okay. I'm gonna type this to him too. And Aiden, if you want to check out our podcast and stuff, just go to minikaboom.com. It's okay. Hang on, I got a contact request, so he did send me something. All right. Okay, Aiden, we're gonna bring you on to the show. So here we go. Ringing. No answer. Aiden, can you hear us? Hello? Aiden, can you hear us, man? Hello?
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
Welcome to the show. You're on with Matt and Doug. Are you a Skylanders fan, Aiden?
Mhm.
Awesome. What's your favorite character?
And like SuperChargers, or like out of all of them?
Okay, let's do SuperChargers first. Who's your favorite SuperCharger?
Probably Fiesta.
Awesome. Doug's his too, right, Doug?
Well, probably going to be Roller Brawl, but as
Oh, yeah,
far
that's
as new
right.
characters, yeah, definitely Fiesta.
Okay, what about overall, all Skylanders games?
Mine would probably be Stealth Elf.
Oh, wow. Very cool. So we got a Stealth Elf fan in the house. Aiden, are you going to be able to get SuperChargers tomorrow when it comes out?
Yeah. I just don't know because I got the pre-order for the regular pack.
Yeah?
But I want to see if I can get the dark one because it's a better deal.
Yep. That's true. Well, maybe they'll let you, depending on where you got it, maybe they'll let you switch over. I hope they do.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Well, do you have any questions for us about Skylanders or anything, or did you just want to call in and say hi?
Just call in and say hi.
Awesome. Well, thanks for hanging out with us. We are at the tail end of like a 2-hour podcast, so it's very cool to hear from you, though. If you know how to follow us on Twitch, we do streams and stuff pretty often, so you can follow us there if you want to watch and tune in. And if you know how to do podcasts, we have a regular podcast that we do each week that you can find on iTunes. It's called the Skycast, so might be able to get your parents to help you out, figure that out, and get that downloaded or whatever. But I hope you enjoy SuperChargers a lot tomorrow. I hope you have a lot of fun playing the game, okay?
Okay.
Awesome, man. Have a good night.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Oh, man, that just melts my heart. Skylanders fans of all ages.
And we finally found our first legitimate Stealth Elf fan.
Yep, I'm gonna edit that into the show. Like I played it after the credits, but I'm gonna go ahead and put that in. That's awesome. Very cool. What a treat. All right, Aiden, it was good to hear from you, man. We're gonna sign off now. Thanks to all you guys for hanging out with us on the live show. I'm going to do my best to get this thing up in the feed tonight, so if you are in line waiting, for the game or something, you might actually see this show up in an hour or two, and especially tomorrow morning if you're out doing your morning SuperCharger shopping, you got something to listen to. Doug, have a safe drive, and good luck, and we'll see all you guys later.
Thank you.
See you, Cuddle. See you, Tony. Anybody else who's still in the stream. See you guys later.